So the issue discussed in last module, which is related to technical expertise in the field with departmental employees as compared to the policy or general expertise with the provincial service employees, is going to be discussed again, but in a more general term. So what is the difference between technical experts and generalists? So this issue is based on a management philosophy. So on one side are people who think that a broad view of the world, of the human nature, is important for a good manager. Other side are the people who think that a more focused and more technical and specialized focus is required for a good manager. So this issue crops up again and again, not only in the public sector, but also in the private sector. In the public sector, we see this, and we will discuss it again in a few minutes. But in the private sector, we see when people like degrees having MBA degrees, which is Masters in Business Administration, heading car factories or heading floor mills or heading computer software factories. So all these this shows that they have the kind of skill which is, they don't know what the company is actually doing, but they have the skill to manage the business, and they are good managers without being experts of what their business is. And that's why MBAs move from stock exchange to a car company to another company which is dealing with, for example, making airplanes, or another company which is making soap or shampoos. So all this shows the difference between, or the tussle between, or the idea that should a manager be a technical expert or a journalist. So British legacy was, and we are part of this British legacy, that a manager should be a well-rounded individual. And how you make a well-rounded individual? You make a well-rounded individual by first having public schooling, where national ethos and patriotism is schooled to you, and you are taught about it, and you learn to face adversity and all those things. And then at the higher level, maybe in the university, you learn Latin and read classics, Greek and Roman classics, and other classics of English or any other literature, and some history and politics, to understand basically the human nature. And when you have this kind of education, what you need, according to this framework, is that rest you can learn on the job through your seniors and through managing different situations. So the idea is that these people are better because they know the human nature, and technical experts are inferior to them because of the fact that they know the machines, but they don't know about the human nature. And the job is to manage not the machines but the human nature. So our civil service is based on this philosophy. Journalists are leading since the last 72 years, and they have many different arguments, and one of them is that if politicians, your prime minister and your president or your ministers are not experts, and still they can become ministers of education or health or any other department, why can't senior civil servants also become the head of their departments? But since the end of Second World War, there is this growth of, or there is a movement toward rise of technical experts. So they argue that importance of long expertise and technical education, and they argue that management can be learned. While one cannot become an engineer at 40 plus of age, but one can do an MBA and become a manager at 40 plus or 50 plus age. So management is easy, technical expertise is difficult. So in case of Pakistan, we journalists led the country. They have this, previously they were part of Indian Civil Service, then that service become, after Pakistan independence, Pakistan Civil Service, and then it become DMG or District Management Group, and then now it's PAS, which is Pakistan Administrative Service. Since the 1980s, journalists in the civil service have come up with a stiff competition for another kind of journalists, which is who are technical experts in their own field, army officers, but they are journalists as compared to others. So they claim, the army officers claim, that if PAS or Pakistan Administrative Service officers can be good managers without knowing anything about the department itself, why can't we? So now, army officers have not become, additional secretaries or joint secretaries, but they have led many corporations or many big public sector companies like WAPDA and Civil Aviation, and even Federal Public Service Commission and Punjab Public Service Commission, and even they have become VCs of and heads of national sports bodies. Supreme Court has recently given decisions in support of technical expertise, but the tussle is continuing. Thank you.